I want to tell you about a decision that seemed insane when it was made and how understanding why it worked has changed how I think about strategic choice entirely. In November 2011, a company ran a full-page advertisement in the New York Times on Black Friday, the biggest shopping day of the year. The ad featured one of their best-selling products, the fleece jacket that customers loved. And the headline said, "Don't buy this jacket." Not "buy our jacket," not "here's why our jacket is better." The ad explicitly told customers not to buy the product. It detailed the environmental cost of producing that specific jacket, the resources consumed, the water used, the carbon generated. And it asked customers to reconsider whether they actually needed to purchase anything at all. This was Patagonia, and in the year following that campaign, their sales increased by 30%. Now, most business advice would have predicted the opposite result. You don't tell customers not to buy your product. You don't undermine purchase intent on your biggest sales day. You don't actively discourage consumption when you run a retail business. But Patagonia understands something about strategic decision making that most businesses miss entirely. They had what I call origin compass, a set of foundational elements that made this decision not risky but inevitable. Once you understand their compass, the "Don't buy this jacket" campaign wasn't a gamble at all. It was the only choice that made sense. Today, I want to show you how this works, because the same compass that guided Patagonia through that decision can guide every strategic choice you make in your business. And once you understand how to use it, decisions that feel overwhelming start to feel almost automatic. The origin compass has 5 elements. Each one represents a different aspect of your business fundamental identity. When all 5 align on a decision, you move forward with confidence. When even one element conflicts, you have found a warning sign worth investigating. Let me walk you through each element using Patagonia as the example, because their decisions illustrate the framework better than any hypothetical could. The first element is your foundational pattern. This is the core problem your business exists to solve, stated at the deepest possible level. It's not your product, it's not your service, the fundamental tension in the world that your business addresses. Patagonia's foundational pattern isn't "we make outdoor clothing." That's what they do, not why they exist. Their foundational pattern is the tension between human consumption and environmental sustainability. They exist because people need high-quality gear to enjoy the outdoors, but producing that gear has environmental costs, and those costs matter. When you understand their foundational pattern, the "Don't Buy" campaign suddenly makes perfect sense. It addresses their core tension directly. It says, "We know you might need gear, but consumption has costs, so please consume thoughtfully." And that's not contradicting their business. That's expressing their deepest purpose. For your own business, the foundational pattern question is, what fundamental tension do you exist to resolve? Not what product do you sell, but what conflict in the world called your business into existence. The second element is your genetic code. This is the unique combination of founder experience, capabilities, and origin story that makes your business uncopyable. Competitors can replicate your products. They can copy your marketing. They cannot replicate how you came to exist. Patagonia's genetic code traces back to Ivan Chouinard, climbing mountains with homemade equipment, realizing the gear didn't exist that he needed, and creating it himself. The company emerged from a founder who was an environmentalist first and a businessman second. Someone who cared more about the mountains rather than about market share. That genetic code is present in every decision Patagonia makes. When they chose to use organic cotton in the 1990s, even though it cost significantly more, they weren't making a marketing play. They were expressing genetic code. When they started worn wear to help customers repair old Patagonia gear instead of buying new, they weren't being clever, they were being themselves. So for your own business, the genetic code question is, what unique combination of experiences, circumstances, and origin story created your business? What do you bring that no one else could bring? The third element is your natural operating rhythm. We explored this last week. Are you built for rapid iteration, precision craft, or periodic transformation? Your rhythm determines not just how you work, but what kind of decisions are sustainable for you. Patagonia operates on a precision craft rhythm. They're not trying to release new products constantly. They're not chasing fast fashion cycles. They create high-quality gear designed to last decades, and they actively help customers extend the life of products they have already purchased. That's precision craft thinking embedded in every business decision. When you evaluate a decision through the lens of natural rhythm, you're asking, can we sustain this at our pace? Does this honor how we work best? A rapid iteration company can sustain daily content production, but a precision craft company might be destroyed by it. The fourth element is your strategic imperative. This is the single most important thing your business must accomplish in the current phase to fulfill its purpose. Not your to-do list, the one strategic priority that makes everything else possible. At the time of the Don't Buy campaign, Patagonia's strategic imperative was establishing a questionable authenticity in the sustainability space. The outdoor industry was full of companies making green claims, and consumers were growing skeptical. Patagonia needed to prove they were different, that their environmental commitment was real rather than performative. The Don't Buy campaign was the perfect expression of the imperative. No greenwashing company would ever tell customers not to buy. Only a company genuinely committed to environmental values would make that choice. The campaign established authenticity in a way that years of traditional marketing never could. For your own business, the strategic imperative question is, what must happen in this phase for your purpose to be fulfilled? What's the one priority that unlocks everything else? The fifth element is your decision filter. This is a simple question that any proposed action must pass before moving forward. It's the quick check that prevents drift and maintains alignment. Patagonia's decision filter is something like, does this strengthen or weaken our position as a company that puts environmental responsibility above short-term profit? Every product decision, marketing choice, and business strategy gets run through this filter. The Don't Buy campaign passes this filter instantly. Does telling customers to buy less strengthen our position as environmentally responsible? Obviously, yes. Decision made. For your own business, the decision filter question is, what single question should every strategic choice be tested against? Now, let me show you why this 5-element system is so powerful. When you run a decision through all 5 elements and they all align, you have something close to strategic certainty. The decision isn't just good, it's inevitable given who you are. Patagonia's Don't Buy campaign aligned on all 5. Foundational pattern directly addresses the consumption sustainability tension. Genetic code expresses founder values authentically. Natural rhythm fits precision craft approach of depth over volume. Strategic imperative establishes unquestionable authenticity. And the decision filter clearly strengthens environmental positioning. So 5 for 5. That's why the campaign worked. It wasn't a gamble, it was an expression of complete strategic alignment. Now, let me show you what happens when you run the wrong decision through this compass. Imagine if Zara, the fast fashion company, ran the same campaign. Don't buy this jacket. How would it score? Foundational pattern. Zara exists to democratize fashion trends quickly and affordably. Telling customers not to buy contradicts their core purpose, so it's a fail. Genetic code. Zara emerged from a founder who wanted to make a fashion accessible to everyone through speed and scale. Anti-consumption messaging clashes with that origin. Fail. Natural rhythm. Zara operates on rapid iteration rhythm. Their model requires constant purchasing and inventory turnover. Don't buy destroys their operational logic. A fail. Strategic imperative. Zara's imperative is maintaining market share through trend responsiveness. Discouraging purchase undermines that directly. So, a fail again. Decision filter. Whatever filter Zara uses, it surely involves growth through accessible fashion. This campaign fails any reasonable version of that filter. Fail. 0 for 5. The same campaign that was perfect for Patagonia would be catastrophic for Zara, not because the campaign is inherently good or bad, but because strategic alignment is everything. This is why you can't just copy what successful companies do. You have to understand whether their decisions would pass your origin compass. Usually, they won't. Let me give you another example to make this concrete. Ferrari deliberately limits production to fewer than 14,000 cars per year, even though they could sell significantly more. Their former chairman said they would always deliver one car less than the market demands. Run this through the origin compass. Foundational pattern. Ferrari exists to create desire through automotive excellence. Scarcity creates desire, so aligned. Genetic code. Ferrari emerged from racing, from Enzo Ferrari's obsession with competition and perfection, from a founder who famously cared more about building engines than about selling cars. Limited production honors that origin. Aligned. Natural rhythm. Ferrari operates on precision craft rhythm. Each car is essentially a functional sculpture. Rushing production would compromise quality, so it's aligned. Strategic imperative. Ferrari's imperative is maintaining their position as the ultimate automotive status symbol. Oversupply would destroy exclusivity. Aligned. Decision filter. Does limiting production strengthen or weaken Ferrari's desirability? It strengthens it dramatically. Aligned. 5 for 5. That's why the strategy works. Now imagine if Ford adopted the same approach. Deliberately produce fewer cars than the market demands. Foundational pattern. Ford exists to make transportation accessible to everyone. That's been their purpose since the Model T. Artificial scarcity contradicts their reason for existence. Fail. The compass reveals instantly that what works for Ferrari would destroy Ford. Same strategy, opposite outcomes, because the business have different compasses. So here's how you build your own origin compass. Start with foundational pattern. What fundamental tension called your business into existence? Go deeper than your product or service. What conflict in the world are you trying to resolve? Then capture your genetic code. What unique combination of experiences, circumstances, and origin created your business? What can no competitor replicate because it's embedded in your specific history? Identify your natural operating rhythm. Are you built for rapid iteration, precision craft, or periodic transformation? Which rhythm feels like acceleration rather than grinding? Clarify your strategic imperative. In this current phase of your business, what single priority makes everything else possible? What must happen for your purpose to be fulfilled? Finally, create your decision filter. What one question should every strategic choice be tested against? Make it specific enough to be useful, but simple enough to remember. Once you have all 5 elements documented, decision-making transforms. Instead of weighing endless pros and cons, you run choices through the compass. Alignment on all 5 means proceed. Misalignment on any element means investigate further. When I analyze brands like Kin, the jewelry company I've studied, I look for compass coherence across all 5 elements. Their foundational pattern is the tension between modern mobility and cultural rootedness. People move, assimilate, lose heritage. Jewelry can carry identity forward across generations. Their genetic code comes from a founder who experienced cultural name erasure, whose family's heirloom jewelry was stolen, who started the company to create pieces that would become tomorrow's heirlooms. Their natural rhythm is precision craft. Each piece in their heritage collection requires research into cultural naming traditions, personalization, and careful handwork. Their strategic imperative is establishing category leadership in cultural reclamation jewelry before well-funded competitors recognize the territory. Their decision filter might be, does this strengthen our position as the brand that gives names back to people who had to give them up? When those 5 elements align, strategic decisions become clear. Should Kin chase fast fashion production cycles? No. It contradicts their rhythm and genetic code. Should they expand into generic jewelry without cultural significance? No. It fails the decision filter. Should they go deeper on heritage and personalization? Yes. It aligns on all 5. The origin compass doesn't make decisions for you. It reveals which decisions are aligned with who you fundamentally are, and which decisions would push you away from your essential nature. Here's what I want you to do this week. Document your 5 elements, 1 page, 5 sections. Be specific and honest. Then take a strategic decision you're currently facing, something you've been wrestling with, and run it through all 5 elements. Where does it align? Where does it conflict? The conflicts aren't necessarily reasons not to proceed. They are signals worth investigating. Maybe the decision needs modification. Maybe one of your compass elements needs refinement. Maybe you've discovered misalignment you didn't know existed. If you want help building your origin compass, True North audits include complete compass mapping. I decode all 5 elements for your specific business and show you how to use them for every decision you face. The link is in the description. Next week, I'm going to show you something that builds on everything we've covered so far. Premium positioning, but not the way most people think about it. I'll reveal the 4 layers of invisible value that let certain businesses charge 10 times their competitors, while those competitors struggle to justify 2 times. Once you see these layers, pricing anxiety starts to dissolve. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.